a young kid that was literally allegedly delivering drugs. That being, it's a serious drug.
Right.
However, there's nothing that the state can show that would lead to him knowing that he was actually delivering the drugs. But because it's such a serious drug in the state of Florida and its trafficking amount, it carries a 25-year minimum mandatory.
Right. For the layman, 25-year minimum, meaning the minimum that the judge can sentence to is 25 years, and the state is kind of working off that usually. You know, for them to change that, they have to make that change, and it usually takes a defense attorney doing a lot of work for them to break it down. And, you know, the judge can get involved, but most don't. But go ahead. Finish what you're
You
saying.
said this was a kid. It's not in juvenile court. It's
No, I mean,
he-
when I
he's like
say a
19,
kid, he's probably 19, 20.
Right, it's adult court, though.
I mean, I could always do a YO, but the state came to me after long negotiations and me showing that you really can't prove knowledge. You didn't arrest him at the scene that when he allegedly delivered this in a parking lot of the mall. It was inside of a bag. You couldn't really show that he had any knowledge what was in the bag. And he was obviously used basically as an Uber driver, Uber Eats. I mean,
Right.
like we look at Uber Eats all the time, but you don't know whether or not, you know, a particular restaurant is putting something in the bag to deliver to this. I mean, so after all that, the state was great in West Palm Beach, and she's wonderful. And she said, I'm going to change the charge and lower the charge down
Right.
to just possession with intent and offer him time served.
How long was he in jail?
He was not in jail. He bonded right out.
Okay.
So it was a deal of a lifetime.
Right, for the viewers, that's a really, really.
Yeah, that's a
big deal.
home run.
That's a home run for, like, as a defense attorney, and if you hired a lawyer, he did his job and then some, but go ahead.
I had the plea paperwork, I went up there, she looked at it. And about after 60 seconds, she put it on her desk and said, I'm not accepting this plea. And 25 years, I've never seen that. Most judges don't get involved.
Right,
They don't, in fact, they don't know the facts of the case. They might read the police report and say, this is something this, but they don't know what the witness situation is, whether or
Right.
not they can prove it, whether or not the
Right.
state has video cameras or anything that could show. Just because a cop says something on a piece of paper doesn't mean that that's the actual case.
right.
And it was shocking. We went sidebar.
Sidebar is just when you ask to speak to the judge on the side. I'm just giving layman kind of anecdotes here, so go ahead. You have to
After we
speak to her
spoke
side
to her on the
outside
side,
presence of everybody.
No one heard us. I kind of told her all the problems with this case. I
Right.
said, basically, my client's an Uber driver. In layman's terms, this
Right.
is an Uber driver case. And she still wouldn't accept it, said, no way.